It's not a secret to most that I've had my fair share of struggles over the years. I grew up in a loving Christian family, but I still never felt totally accepted by the people around me. By high school, I felt totally alone, and I was willing to do whatever I needed to gain acceptance from anyone. I dabbled in drugs, drinking, and promiscuity, and I realized how easy it was to have people around if I was willing to do anything. Things naturally progressed to more severe circumstances, and I was pretty much a raging alcoholic and drug addict, and I never gave a second thought about anything. I was known as Crazy Allie, and I wore that title with pride. But I still didn't feel the happiness or the acceptance that I so craved. Throughout my many years of partying and moving from city to city, I still always found my way into a church, because there was such a calling in my spirit to be around Christians. Despite the all too often bad examples that I had seen from other so-called Christians throughout my life, I always desired to be in church. I felt ashamed, knowing that I was consciously making choices that hurt God, but I knew that no matter what I did, He still loved me. I hit my rock bottom at 21, and it wasn't a big monumental event, such as when I overdosed on drugs, or any of the numerous times that I blacked out and woken up in bad situations. Everyone has their own rock bottom, and no one can guess or try to decide when someone has hit theirs. I moved back to Ontario on a midnight flight on a whim, because I knew that I couldn't stay out west any longer. However, things weren't all better from there. I still used a few times, and I drank more than I should, but I knew in my heart that this was a changing point in my life. The final straw was when I found out that I was pregnant. I knew right then and there that that was the kick in the butt that I needed to finally get my life in gear and start actually living. Pregnancy wasn't the easiest either, though, given that Matt and I could not stand each other for pretty much the entire 9 months. I thought about adoption because it didn't seem right to have a baby with someone that I couldn't get along with. But I couldn't stand the thought of not raising my child. There were a lot of prayers said for Matt and Silas and I, and once Silas was born, everything changed. Matt and I realized that our problems didn't matter anymore, and we had to do whatever we could to give our child the best life. It didn't take long for Matt and I to start seeing each other totally differently, and our feelings for each other grew, and, well, we're married and expecting our second. We give God all the glory in our crazy love story, and we honestly still can't believe how in love we are with each other, given the way we felt about each other just a few short years ago. It isn't easy every day. There's so many days when I want to get really drunk, many days when Matt and I aren't getting along, and many days when I feel sad and feel bad about myself. I wish that I could say life was perfect, but that's unrealistic. But what is perfect is that every time I'm having one of those days, God is always there. I've never felt that God has abandoned me, only that I have abandoned Him. I remember one time talking to my mom after reading through years of journal entries, commenting on how many times I wrote about, I need to change my life. I was feeling down that after so many times, I still hadn't changed my life. She said to me, Al, what's truly amazing is that you've never stopped trying to get better. That hit me really hard. Satan wanted me to be stuck in a negative place, but there was still hope. I never lost my hope of getting better, and I believe that's what got me through everything. There's always hope for every single person. We can't do anything that God hasn't seen before. We can't shock Him, and we can't surprise Him. Even if we have lost our hope, God still hasn't lost His hope and His faith in us. With Christ, all things are possible. Are possible.
Amen. Amen.